You have the price. Someone give it to you.
No. I made my own. I'm earning money.
Heart to the people, of course, St. Lucia. Wherever you are, St. Lucia, of course.
Okay, it's being recorded now. We on? You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let me know when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Want to shout out to all our Facebook viewers live. Tell the people we are talking to the artist, Jahsheem. Tell the people on Smash. That's what I'm talking about.
Police mute Monday, police mute Monday, police mute Monday, police mute Monday. Fini veki samedi,
We are there.
fini veki samedi umise, fini ve mauvais
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio. You're listening to UVC Radio. The sound, the vibes of different.
Roots and culture.
C'était moi septembre 1977. Les polices montaient à Mont Jimmy. Best quitter Rasta.
And of course, you're listening to the voice of Jahsheem, and this one is called Mon Jimmy. You'll be hearing much more about that. You get me here? What is Mon Jimmy? You might be wondering, you might be asking yourself, what is Mon Jimmy? You get me? But of course, we'll leave it on to the artist to tell us all about this song. And of course, he's coming from the island of St. Lucia. He goes by the name of Jahsheem. We will be talking to him in just a few minutes from now.
Fini veki samedi umise, fini ve mauvais Pow, 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 pow. Un joli place comme on dit, mais il plie au visionnaire. Pour faire excès grave, vivre ensemble.
Facebook would have said shout out to you, of course. Jahsheem, yes, we're getting ready now, Jahsheem. You get there.
Décidé pour garder un guidon.
We're not getting ready, Jahsheem.
C'est au mieux. Montez garder un guidon. Police montez mon Jimmy. Police suivez mon Jimmy.
Covering that. But I like it.
Yeah.
see me in the background.
I'm trying to get it. You see him? You see it?
That's how I saw it.
Oh, it's there. But it's behind you.
No, it's not. No.
Yeah.
I'm giving it just now.
It's behind you.
Top of it.
And of course, people, this is the moment that you all have been waiting for. Wherever you are in the world, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. As we now will be placing reggae artist Jahsheem in the spotlight as he reveals some of the stories behind his big story, all happening right here on UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. A pleasant good afternoon to you. How are you doing? What's the vibes like?
Vibe is okay, my brothers.
Right, and of course, we want to say thank you so much, Jahsheem, for taking time out of your busy schedule in being here with us right here on UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Once again, welcome.
Most welcome, brother. Have a good day.
Right, and of course, let's start this interview by letting the world by extension know where Jahsheem was originally from and a bit more information about yourself growing up of the island that you was birthed.
Well, brother, I born and raised in Canaries, the little tiny village in Canaries. And that's where I started my musical career into a folk music. And then from the folk music, I entered the commercial with the Merrymakers Band.
Right, and of course, tell us about your early childhood in the island of St. Lucia. What was life like to you? What school did you attend? And what was your behavior? What was your attitude towards school whilst growing up in on that island, rather?
Well, brother, I was in school in Canaries. It was okay until when I entered the band with the folk music with the name Florita Mackey. She was the #1 folk vocalist in Canaries. And that's where I started my musical career into the folk music until the Merrymakers Band asked me to play with them, which is I'm a bass player when it comes to a band. And I perform with free recording band in St. Lucia, which is Merrymakers, Rebirth 7, Itation in St. Lucia. And we were the #1 dancing band with the Merrymakers Band. And True Tones was the #1 classic band in hotels, but we were the #1 dancing band. And I was the bass player in Merrymakers, Cambo, in St. Lucia, Canaries.
Amazing. Now, can you let the listeners know where in St. Lucia are you from exactly?
I'm from Canaries, exactly in Canaries, Canawi.
Now, of course, listeners, Canaries happens to be a fishing village from the island, St. Lucia on the coastline, and that's where Jahsheem is originally from. You talk to us about, your day-to-day activity in school. Do you know what I mean? What was your approach like when you were faced with assignments at school? Were you quite interested in school growing up in St. Lucia? Or did they have much school at all back in St. Lucia during that time you grew up?
Brother, during the time I grew up, I was living in the countryside. I have to walk 2 miles to reach to school. I'm always late because I have to feed the animals and everything for my father before reaching in the school. So I always a late comer because so many activity I have to. We have feed, we have so many, the pigs and lambs and goats and things which I have to take care of before reaching to school. When bananas, I have to stay 2 days of school in order to help my father to put bananas together to send banana up to England. So I help a lot of things concerning bananas going up to England. So I'm part of it.
Lovely. Now, at at what point did the music find you, or what time music find you? What time you discover that music was inside of you and you had this burning sensation towards music? What triggered that realization? What brought you to that self realization that music was part of you?
Well, it was music was in our house. My father was the guitarist concerning folk music in Canaries. My mom, she was a choir in the church as a vocalist. My father was the musician concerning folk music. So both of them was doing their cultural thing, which is in St. Lucia, there is the Laros and the Marguerite, two flowers. So my mom was a Laros singing Laros, and my father was a Marguerite singing Marguerite. But my father had to perform for my mom when it's their feast, which is 30th of August, is Laros Festival. On the 17th of October is the Marguerite. So my mom have to sing for my father when it's my father's feast, and my father have to play the guitar for my mom when it's the Laros Festival. So I brought up in a musical house. And that's
Wow,
when everything
amazing.
started.
But what brought you? What made you become conscious that music what was part of you, and it is something that you would have wanted to do later on in your life?
Well, it's from school. They had my teacher had when there was musical classes where the teacher have to put me among the girls because my voice was higher than their voices. So I had to be on the girls' class when singing, and that's where all my musical career started from school, where the teacher have to put me among the girls because my voice was higher than their voice, and that's where I realized I am a vocalist.
Right, lovely. Walk us through that very first performance you did at school, and what was the reception like? How did your classmates receive you? Talk to us about that.
Well, all of them appreciate because they know that I am the one that put the vocal together, and my classmate and the teacher, everybody appreciate my vocal from school, and that's where everything started, which everybody appreciate until I enter the group in the community, and that's where it become bigger.
Right now, Jashim, you mentioned that your your mom was La Rose and your dad being Marguerite. Now, this is two flowers representing the culture, part of the culture of St. Lucia. And now, having, I mean, St. Lucia, obviously, they is popularly known for soca slash calypso music and folks, its own very folk music, which is the La Rose and the Margaret. How did you end up doing reggae?
Well, how I end up doing reggae is because after a Laros festival, then the group Merrymakers heard me, asked me whether if I want to join the band. So then I told them yes. It was a Thursday, was the Laros festival. So the Friday, I went and rehearsed with them. And the Saturday, they had a contract in Marigo Beach Club, Saturday and Sunday, which I have to went and performed with them in the hotel, and that's how I end up to enter the group. And then I started with the group until we made our album, Kibela, Lina, Ayuna, all them things. We put them songs together as a bass player. Then I became a bass player in the band, but I'm a solo artist individual.
Thank you so much. Of course, I am talking to a reggae artist from St. Lucia, Jahsheem, and we'll be going for a song break. And of course, you've just heard that he said a group was formed, and after the break, we'll be talking about that group, and we'll take it from here. At this point, we'll be going for a song break. When we come back, I'll be talking to Jahsheem right here on the Fiery Zone, UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Don't touch a button.
C'était moi septembre 1977. Les polices montaient à Mont Jimmy. Best quitter Rasta.
They probably ask what the song say for the English speakers and what it's about and the history and all that stuff. But they're gonna ask about the band. So like give the names of the members of the band, how long the band was performing for, what songs were you singing on, how long is the band still around?
That's where he's gonna enter it.
Yeah, talk about the band. So those type of things. Be careful of that one. I made that one. That's my concoction. That's my
Yours?
I made this one.
Oh.
Okay. Tamarind
and onion. You like that one?
That's your production? Probably I have to remove my bed from Belvedere and bring it up.
You got space though. There you got room. Family.
Yes, my brother.
And of course, we want to acknowledge all our viewers on Facebook. Don't forget, you can check out this interview on Facebook. It's happening on UVC Radio on Facebook. Check out the live. We are talking to Jahsheem out of St. Lucia as he tells us a bit more about the journey along his musical journey, rather, in St. Lucia, that is. It's all happening right here on UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Oh, welcome back again. We are talking to Jahsheem. If you just joined in, my name is Fonsa Black, right here on the Fiery Zone, UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Now, Jahsheem, before we went off, you were mentioning about this group that was formed, and then you started going to the hotels around St. Lucia. Tell us the genesis of that group. How did that group was actually formed, and how did you benefit from that group?
Well, that group was formed. My brother was the bass player in the group. And when he left, he went up to St. Croix. 2 years after that, I became the bass player in the group because the music was at home and all of the inspiration was at home. My mom, my father, my brothers, all of us were musicians at home. So that's where all the vibration and the inspiration came from, at home. So it wasn't hard for me to pick up, and it wasn't hard for them to ask me to play in the group. And they had no problem with me. I rehearsed today, and tomorrow I'm in the hotel performing with the group. So I was already cooked.
Lovely. And what was the name of the group?
The name of the group was the Merrymakers Combo. Everybody know about the Merrymakers, was the #1 dancing group in St. Lucia at that time.
Wow.
Everybody in St. Lucia, those who are in Paddington, in England, and everywhere about, they danced and heard about the Merrymakers band in St. Lucia.
Now that's quite interesting. Now a song, you know what I mean, was we've heard a song in the background when we went for a break. The title track is called Mon Jimmy. Now that song was sung in Creole. Now most of us who are listening across the world, you know what I mean, including England right here, may not understand or might not understand the words in that song because you sang it in the dialect of St. Lucia, Creole. And the song is Mon Jimmy. Now, I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell us just a bit, you know what I mean, the concept of that song. And then we're going to go into a bit more detail. So just before you go, you give us just the concept of that song. I also want to give our listeners the opportunity again to listen to this song, right? Right here on UVC Radio.
Okay. So, Mon Jimmy Raid.
Just 1 minute. Let's listen to the song.
Jimmy, best quitter Rasta, reality la vie. Police mouté, mon Jimmy, police mouté, mon Jimmy, police mouté, mon Jimmy, police mouté, mon Jimmy, fini fait qui ça me dit, il fait pioter, fini fait qui ça me dit,
Want to big up to all our viewers on Facebook. Big up yourself. We are talking to Jahsheem over in St. Lucia. And after the song, you'll be telling us much more about that song. So in the meantime, between time, I want you to just listen to the song, yeah?
Police mouté, mon Jimmy, police mouté, mon Jimmy, police mouté, mon Jimmy, police mouté, mon Jimmy, fini fait qui ça me dit, il fait pioter, fini fait qui ça me dit, monsieur, fini fait mauvaise.
Road song culture.
UVC Radio.
Police mute mon Jimmy. Police vive mon Jimmy. Police vive mon
Hey y'all, it's Kitchen under the Byron Zone, chilling with Fonso Black on UVC Radio, the one and only. That's what's up, man.
Vini fait qui ça me dit, monsieur. Vini fait mauvais. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Let your weave and kind brother.
Baby, I'm listening to UVC Radio.
Yo, je ne sais si
Come on, representing that UVC Radio. UVC Radio, you're there top. So you are top. Yes, I will see for them shots, for them flop.
And of course, if you just joining in, my name is Alphonse Black again, and I'm talking to singer reggae artist Jahsheem, all the way from St. Lucia. And in the background, you just heard the song called Mon Jimmy. Once again, listeners, welcome back. Jahsheem, over to you. Now, the song Mon Jimmy, it was done in Creole, St. Lucia colloquial language, you know what I mean? It's called Creole, some sort of broken French, the language. Now, it was done in that to give the listeners a fair understanding of the concept of that song. Jahsheem, tell us.
Well, the concept of that song is, it was in the year 1977 when police came up to Mount Jimmy, persecute Rastafari. And then reaching up there, that's the time they start shooting and everybody get panicked because we never have them kind of shooting in the hills. And that's where the song come about of police came up to Mount Jimmy, and I put that song together to come and persecute Rastafari. And that's where everybody was panicking. And the song is A Joli Place comme Mount Jimmy, which is a lovely place like Mount Jimmy, where Rasta lives together in harmony until we get that persecution. So I put the song together concerning the harassment we get from the police force, and it wasn't happy. Not everybody was panicking according to what the police come and do right up there in the hills. Because we left the village. We so many miles away because Mount Jimmy is in the center of St. Lucia, our highest mountain. And we went up there to avoid the persecution and tribulation in the community, in the village, in the society. So with that, I put that song together to let the world and St. Lucia know what happened to us in the hills because of the police at that time in 1977. And I recorded the song in Trinidad KH Studio in 1979. So that's how Mon Jimmy came about.
Thank you so much. Now, even before we go into the invasion of police up in the hills of Monjimi, I would like you to explain to our listeners Monjimi. When you hear the word Monjimi, right, it's one of the tallest mountains in St. Lucia. It's, I think, a thousand or a little over 1,000 feet above sea level, that is. So it's quite high. And
Yeah.
so, Jahsheem, describe to us when approaching this huge mountain, which is in the dead center, is in the center of the island. When approaching Mon Jimmy, talk to us about the scenery. Mon Jimmy, what comes into sight when you approach this mountain? And tell us the access of this mountain. How can you access this tall mountain? Is it just one route to get up there, or there is several routes? Talk to us. Give us a bit more description on the mountain itself.
Well, Mon Jimmy, situated in the center of St. Lucia, and there is so many routes. There is a route from Canaries to went up there. There is a route in Ancillary where you could reach up there. There is a route in Viewfort where you could, because it's in the center. So everybody that's in St. Lucia have their routes to reach Mount Jimmy, which is the center. So that's the way everybody find their way to go up to Mount Jimmy. We from Canaries have our routes to reach up there. In Ancillary have their routes to, people from Castries have their routes to reach up there. From Dennery have their routes to reach up there because it's in the center of the island.
Now, I suppose, Jahsheem, you've used Rastafari as your spiritual guidance, and you and families and friends decided to go up in the hills, like you explained to us, trying to avoid the persecution that was faced in the village. Now, what was the real reason for leaving the community, apart from being victimized and being brutalized by police in St. Lucia? What are some of the other reasons that you all chose this mountain in particular to go up and live?
Because this mountain is our highest region where we feel, well, there gonna be no persecution because it's our highest mountain, just like the Blue Mountain in Jamaica. So we want to make sure we secure and no persecution and harassment would come and reach us. That's what we fought to ourselves, but that wasn't the case with the society. So the society.
So what was going on there on a day-to-day basis at Mount Jimmy among those who were living there? What sort of activity was happening up there?
Well, the day-to-day activity that was taking place, you was building and cultivating, have our own garden, all our production, because we don't want to go back into the society. So we were planting our gardens and having our things cultivating up there, just like Blue Mountain. And we know that where we want to be residing at that time, until we get the persecution and police come and bring us back to the society. But that's where we had our mind focused to have our life as Rastafari.
And was children involved as well at that time up in the hills?
Yes, there was a one of the child, which is my daughter, was there at that time, because I know well, they're just there on a 1 to 2 weeks vacation, just to experience what's going on, and then that same week the police came up and destroyed everything, so that they had to bring her down. And that's how
But
it
even
come
even
about.
before you continue there, Jahsheem, I would like to give the listeners the opportunity to sort of get a picture, you know what I mean, of that mountain. Describe the vegetarian, the breeze that you were breathing. Do you know what I mean? Like whilst up there, how did it make you feel as a person? You know what I mean? Trying to, I suppose, embrace nature to its fullest. What was actually, you know what I mean, the experience, you know what I mean, in terms of what you were seeing, in terms of the air, the water, everything on that mountain?
Well, brother, that's where I experienced the most crystal water. Crystal. And Mount Jimmy have 7 heads of mountain. And from that 7 heads of mountain became 7 rivers to supply St. Lucia with water. And that's where we were residing, in our highest, tallest mountain, where all the resources of water came in from to supply St. Lucia with water. So I know we were in a positive vibes where we were at that time.
And how about music? Was music involved? Were you rehearsing reggae music on the mountain as well?
Up there, I had my acoustic guitar, and we have our drums. There's no electricity up there. So it's only our drums and my acoustic guitar. That's how we put our music together whilst I was in Mount Jimmy. Because I already left the group Merrymakers I was in, and I went up there, and that's where I get the inspiration and where the police came up, and then I put the song together, Police Mute Mount Jimmy. But before that, I was in 3 different groups as a bass player, which is the Merrymakers, Rebirth 7 from Soufriere, Itation from Canaries. All them groups I used to play with before going up to Mount Jimmy.
Now, listeners, you heard the story. Jahsheem is just saying to us. They went up in the hills, the tallest mountain in St. Lucia, named Mount Jimmy. And there they settled. They built sheds, they farmed the mountain, they grew vegetables, they grew their food, and that's where they got the purest, clearest water, which of course you heard that there is 7 peaks. Do you know what I mean? And those peaks are responsible for all rivers across the island of St. Lucia. Now in 1977, disaster strike. Suddenly, what happened? It was so peaceful all along. But on September 1977, a dreadful day. A day that you and many others who were there will never forget. Could you tell us in detail what transpired on that dreadful day?
But that dreadful day, I and a brethren named Hezekiah, we were coming from Canaries in the village, look for goods, because we know we need our things up there. So we went and looked for some foods and things and what we're gonna need in Mount Jimmy. So when we reached on a hill named Monwigu, when we reached on top of Monwigu, I feel to myself, I am hungry. So we're gonna roast a breadfruit. So roasting the breadfruit, whilst the breadfruit cooked and we grating up the toast breadfruit, then I heard the bullet, pow, pow, pow. That's why I put the sound of the bullet in the song. And then I told my brethren, Gaston, there is police up there. He told me, of course, because we never heard that kind of gunshot in Mount Jimmy. So at that time, it's already 5 o'clock. I told the man, we cannot continue that journey when there is police up there. So automatically, the weather changed. Clouds, lightning, thunder, raining. So we cannot move until we decide we're going to build a little shack. But we cannot shelter the rain because rain, the water all underneath us running. We cannot move until the next day. Early in the morning, we ain't gunshot again. So we know them fellas slept up there, waiting, because all that time, I got to understand they was waiting on the child father, which is me. And they slept where I was coming, waiting for me, which is the child father, to have me on hold. So the next day when I and Hezekiah trod on, we saw the burning house where they burned the last house in the morning. And we checked the footsteps where they enter, where they move out. And then we know where they already move. And looking for my child, I cannot see my child. I cannot see the lady that was taking care of her. So the police had already arrested the lady and my child and bring them down. And that's how I got to know, well, the police was around and they burned the shacks. And the only shacks they left was where I am coming, and that's where they slept to wait for the child father. So my child mother have to go down to the hospital and claim the child, and they give her my daughter, and that's how everything end up.
Wow. And I suppose this is where 2 years after, in 1979, this song was recorded. And not even in St. Lucia, in Trinidad and Tobago. Why Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, KH Studio.
Say that again.
We recorded that song in KH Studio in Trinidad.
And I'm saying, is there a particular reason why you went all the way in Trinidad and not recorded in St. Lucia?
At that time, St. Lucia had no recording studio that was capable of doing them things. Because everybody in St. Lucia at that time had to go and recorded either Barbados or somewhere else. Because at that time, St. Lucia had no recording studio that could put it together for us.
And the music, Mon Jimmy, the instrument that we hear in, was it live instrument recorded in the studio?
Yes, it is live instrument.
And who were playing those instruments while recording?
Well, I was the bass player. Yona Shak was the guitarist. Our drummer was by the name of Clay I. Right now, he died in the States. And we had Leo Cherry was on the organ. So it was Canarians. All of us are musicians from Canaries. Because Canaries at that time, we had two bands, the Merrymakers band, the Itation band, and I was coordinating the folk group, which is the Laros, our folk group. I was coordinating the folk group whilst I was still in the commercial group with Merrymakers. So I had two groups at that time. When Laros Festival, I have to entertain the Laros group. When we have to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We book, if this Christmas we book, we already booked for next Christmas with the Merrymakers. That was the #1 dancing band in St. Lucia at that time.
Jahsheem, what was the reaction of St. Lucian after hearing the devastating news by the police force? What they did to you guys up in the mountain of Mount Jimmy? What was the reaction of the public?
The whole public was terrified. None of them liked what, because the whole St. Lucia know where we gone too far, leaving our community and gone right up to Mount Jimmy, and for the police to come right up there and to harass us. The whole St. Lucia was against that. It was against that because they feel, well, we left the village. We are not harassing anybody to go right up there to have our own life together, and for the police to come and put everything off. The public didn't like it.
Right. Of course, I'm talking to a singer reggae artist, Jahsheem from St. Lucia. We'll be going for another music break. When we come back, we'll be talking to him more about his musical career, his musical journey on the island of St. Lucia. Right here on UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Don't touch a button.
Yeah, you don't know, so this is your Empress Squad, and I represent the Fancy Black and UVC Radio. Mighty up.
Fancy Black, nah give up. In a life and even a fight, Jaja make it right. Fancy Black, nah give up. In a life, you know, Subverter representing for Fancy Black.
Now you know Facebook, if I could sing, I would jump on the rhythm, innit? If I could sing, I would jump on the rhythm. Police Mute Mon Jimmy. I can't sing, but if I could sing, I would jump on the rhythm. The rhythm is cooking, I tell ya. Let's take it back to the start, to the start, to the start.
You know, it's Aisha Nova representing for Fancy Black on UVC Radio.
What a shout out to all our viewers on Facebook, keeping it locked, and please share the live, share the live. We are talking to singer reggae artist Jahsheem all the way from St. Lucia. Boy, I wish I could sing. Should I try something, people? Should I try something? Should I try something? I tell you, people, of course, this is how we do it. Facebook, big up yourself. As we want to take time to big up to all our listeners over in Canary, St. Lucia, anywhere you are in St. Lucia, from Castries to Viewfort, Ghostlet, big up yourself. And of course, St. Lucia's, of course, living in the UK as well. We want to shout out to you guys. What a story! Police invasion over in Mount Jimmy in 1977. And the song was both, of course, called Mount Jimmy. You heard it? It was recorded in Trinidad and Tobago by Jahsheem. And of course, we just got a text from the London says, okay, big up yourself, Jahsheem, and big up the entire Canaries crew in London, represented to the fullest. Big up yourself, Jahsheem. Now, listeners, if I could sing, I would do justice on this rhythm because I'm loving it. Yes, I'm loving it. What a story!
DJ Fancy Block, my
Remember, Police mute mon Jimmy. Police mute mon Jimmy boy. That's what I'm talking about. Police mute mon Jimmy. Police mute mon Jimmy boy. Oh, I can't sing, but I'm trying something, innit? Cause the song is catchy, it's catchy, it's catchy. Police mute mon Jimmy. Police mute mon Jimmy boy. I'm not entirely sure if I'm singing in key, but I'm trying something, so bear with me, yeah? I tell ya. Ease. And of course, if you're just joining in, my name is Fonz Black, and I'm talking to reggae artist Jahsheem, all the way from the tropical island of St. Lucia. You've just heard the story. You know, I mean, the invasion which took place in 1977 up in the tallest mountain, and that's in St. Lucia. It's called Mount Jimmy, where they were dwelling peacefully until, of course, there came the invasion of police brutality, destroying the sheds that was there, vegetarian, etc. And of course, a song was made, and this title track is called Mon Jimmy. They recorded that song in Trinidad and Tobago. The entire band was present, live instrument, and you could hear the sounds of gunshots whilst the song is being heard, and of course, sounds of thunder. I suppose it was dreadful, isn't it? Once again, Jahsheem, welcome back. So, Jahsheem,
Yes,
now
my
that,
B.
of course, you experienced that horrible time in the mountains, what happened next as it relates to your music? Did you continue music, or was that a sort of step back, not wanting to continue the music? What transpired next?
What transpired next is when the group mashed up, then I said to myself, well, what I'm going to do with my talent? So I had to, as a bass player in the group, in all the groups that I perform, I had to change it into a solo artist, which I am entertaining for 6 different events. For honeymooners, anniversaries, birthday parties, weddings, lunchtime, dinner time, in different hotels in St. Lucia, which is Marigot Beach Club, Tikai Village, the Hummingbird, Jalousie, Jade Mountain, and all of them different hotels I alone had to perform. And that's where I find myself as a solo artist. And if you give me one chance to big up our people from Canaries in Paddington, Sandra, Olio, and Alexis, and all of them in Paddington, Canarians, big up, big up, big up.
And of course, this is the moment that you all have been waiting for, as we now will be placing singer reggae artist Jahsheem in the spotlight to give us an a cappella. Now, Jahsheem, you could do 2 things. You could either play your guitar while singing, or if you don't have your guitar with you, then you could get the instrumental that I have and you could sing along. Over to you. What's best for you?
Well, okay.
Which one you gonna choose?
Well, I either bound to be mine or anyone.
Anyone.
You mean, can I give you a little Hotel California? No.
Definitely.
You got back?
Yes.
The dark desert highway, cold breeze in my head. One small of Calydon, rising up to the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw the shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my eyes grew dim. I have to stop for the night. There she stands in the doorway. I heard a mission bells, and I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. She light up the candles, and she showed me the way. There were voices from the corridor. I have to hear them say, welcome to the hotel in St. Lucia. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Plenty of room in the hotel in St. Lucia. Any time of the year, any time of the year, you can find Jahsheem here. She's hasty bunny twisted. She have a Mercedes Benz. She have lots of pretty, pretty boys. She called friends. See they dance in the courtyard. Sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember. Some dance to forget. Then I call on the captain to bring me my wine. He says, we haven't got the spirit here since 1969. Still those boys keep calling from far away. Wake me up in the middle of the night just to hear them say, welcome to the hotel in St. Lucia. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place. A plenty of room in the hotel in St. Lucia. What a nice surprise, what a nice surprise. Bring your alibi. Mirrors on the ceiling, dumping champagne on ice. We are just the prisoners here on our own device. The master chamber, they gathered for the feast. They stab it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was heading for the door. Couldn't find my passage back to the place I was before. Relax, said the nightmare. We are programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you want, but you just can't never leave.
right. Thank you so much for that, Jahsheem. If there is a promoter out there who just heard this live performance, what is the best contact to get Jahsheem on?
Well, the best contact is Jahsheem St. Lucia. Well, because we haven't got any other contact than Jahsheem Canary St. Lucia.
And if there is a number, what's about a number? Is there a number that you can leave for a promoter who is interested in to book you on an event? What is the best contact number?
The number is 286-9816.
And can you please include the area code?
Yes, 1758-286-9816. That's my contact number.
Thank you so much. So what is the next big project, the next big thing that you are currently working on that your fans could expect coming from Jahsheem very soon? Is there anything that you're working on currently that your fans could expect from you soon?
Yes, my big project is to finish my songs, because there's a few songs which I have to finish, put together to record. And then as long as I finish, put them together, I'll send it for you.
Lovely.
Because there's a project where the songs, I have to put it together. It's not yet recorded. But I already performed that song in St. Lucia, but not yet recorded.
Right. That sounds so amazing. Of course, we want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule in allowing us to place you in the spotlight as you reveal some of the stories behind your big story in helping us understand the culture of reggae music coming from the island of the St. Lucia. Just before we come to an end of this interview, is there anyone out there you'd like to shout out to? Go on.
Well, I would like to shout out Alexis, my son Ed, which is Cynthia. There are so many. The whole of Paddington is mostly Canarians that's in Paddington. And I bigging up everybody in Paddington, and especially everybody that came from the Canaries village in St. Lucia. Big up to each and every one out there.
Thank you so much, Jahsheem. And also you can big up the Facebook. We live on Facebook, so you can big up everybody on the live as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You most
and of
welcome.
course, we will be ending this one again with the song Mon Jimmy, right here on the UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Once again, thank you so much. Quite interesting interview. What unfortunately happened in 1977. You heard it from the person who was actually there. Do you know what I mean? Jahsheem. And that song came out from it. Excuse me, that's the one.
Just, I have to play. You're already done with us, I think.
I would say you should just play along with it.
No, but we can't hear. You want the rhythm? Good.